Hello, everyone. Ladislas Maurice from thewanderinginvestor.com. So today I'm really excited to be discussing a topic that just popped out. Apparently, Hungary will be launching a golden visa that people will be able to obtain to have visa-free access to the European Union, to the Schengen zone, more specifically, through the purchase of real estate. So I'll be discussing with Laszlo, who has been in the immigration game for 30 years and who has helped dozens of people move to Hungary, as well as Benedek, who is my buyer's agent in Budapest. So Laszlo, let's start with you. Can you tell us about the general outline of what we're hearing about this potential new golden visa?
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to join this conversation. Yes, it's fairly new. I have to state several facts. One is that the draft is in front of the parliament, but it has not been voted on, meaning that we are talking about the current draft and not about anything which could change as the text of the law. And also you have to know that there would be a regulation, additional regulation by a government decree, which would define many technical details, what is permitted, what is not permitted, what is the best way, what would be approved, if approval is necessary. So there is, at this moment, there is a little bit of ambiguity of exactly the rules, how they would be. The current draft of the law would become in force next September. So that is why that is also another question of when. I hear stories maybe earlier. Currently, the text which is in front of the parliament talks about 2024 September, meaning that there would be ample time to prepare. If it's a nearer time period, then obviously, then we have to speed up the procedure. Anyway, that I just wanted to add. The whole concept of the new possibility, there would be a new immigration law, by the way, and it would be part of it. The old one would be abolished. So the old residency bond situation would be closed because that law will not exist anymore. This would overwrite it. Simply says that people who would like to get a long-term residency, which means that initially they get 2 years, but if they keep the investment, they would have a 10-year residency permit, which is renewable if they keep the permit for another 10 years and for another 10 years. There is no restriction on the timeline. That means that, yes, nearly, basically, if they keep the property, it will be a lifetime residency, which we could call in economic essence as permanent residency, but it's a new law. It is using new expression. So when we translate the Hungarian into the foreign languages, then it would be quite near to permanent residency, but it is not explicitly called as a permanent residency.
Would there, yes, would there be any path to citizenship? Because I know in Hungary, on paper, you need to live there for a few years, you apply for permanent residency, then you can get citizenship. But it's actually hard. A lot of people get their permanent residency applications rejected. A lot of people get their citizenship applications rejected. You really need to integrate yourself into Hungarian society, which is not easy.
From what I read from the law and also the amendment to the citizenship law, it would be hard to convert it to citizenship. In fact, if you do not live here and you do not spend considerable time, then it is not Portugal. And the authorities just simply do not want to use that system where for 5 years, 1 week each year, and you qualify for citizenship. That is not really a good deal for a government, I would say, but it's another topic of what and how Portugal is doing things. No wonder that they have a huge problem. They had a huge problem this year and last year with this. And also judges are refusing granting the citizenship. So anyway, only for people, but then again, we are talking about the preliminary legislation. Investors would have 3 options to invest, if I can describe that, which currently is the situation. Either invest into a real estate investment fund, a REIT. It's not a trust, but a fund, but anyway, properly licensed by the Central Bank of Hungary, which is the financial supervisory body in Hungary. So they supervise all the banks, they supervise the insurance companies, they supervise the investment funds, they supervise the brokerage firms, and that is why the National Bank has to license these kind of investment funds. 250,000 euros investment, which is required. It's always a minimum, but probably then if you want to use this option, then you do not want to pay 300,000 just for the sake of getting the residency. There is also another option, which is not an investment fund, not a joint investment, not a mutual fund. It is that individual properties would be purchased possibility is there, and the minimum is €500,000. And there is an interesting solution which probably will not be as competitive, which is to donate €1,000,000 to, and if I know, anyway, that's in the law, that's currently where we stand, €1,000,000 to donate to a foundation which is supervising and managing either a high school or a college or a university. Quite a lot of the universities are operating as private foundations in Hungary, and therefore that is one way of how to donate that. Yes, again, 250,000 seems a little bit better than $1 million donation, and for this you get an investment yield depending on how the investments are doing. Those are the three options currently on the table in the draft law.
So why is the Hungarian government doing this?
The property market is not moving now. In fact, it is just stagnating. And then there are quite a big property investments which are coming into line. And then I guess that this would be one way how to soak up the usual the additional supply by this way to steer up. Not for individuals, user is much harder. They need a permission to buy if they are outside of the European Union citizens. They need a permission to buy a property. This property investment fund is a very, very easy solution. You just transfer the money to the investment, you sign the subscription agreement, and you get the investment confirmation. And this is it. And then, yes, big property projects specializing in real estate, not in commercial real estate, but private properties, then yes, I think this is what they are targeting.
So thank you, Laszlo. So Benedek, what do you think would be the impact of this on the property market? Because we've seen the highly successful Portuguese Golden Visa. It helped property prices in Portugal, to say the least, in core areas. Same thing in Greece now. So what do you think the impact would be in Hungary?
Hello, everybody. I'm also glad to be part of this conversation. And like Laszlo mentioned, the property market in Budapest right now is, well, it's a nice way to put it. It's not stagnating. It has been in decline for more than a year. So prices has been steadily declining, and there is very little movement. And like Laszlo mentioned as well, this is probably a way to enhance this situation. So I would expect that this would mean an influx of supply, not supply, but demand for the higher end properties, which would mean that the inner parts of Budapest would receive a big influx of capital. So this could mean that luxury real estate would be in high demand, which makes a good opportunity for investors who are ready to invest now, because prices are down now, so it's possible to buy in to the property market for least amount of money, and then you can hold on to the property, and in the worst case scenario, you would have an appreciating asset over time, and the best case scenario, you can resell the property for the Golden Visa applicants.
Yeah, we'll see how the mechanics work exactly. So there are essentially two scenarios. Either a single property must be bought to qualify for the 500,000. So here there's definitely an opportunity to buy now and front run the demand in the future. Or it's multiple properties. If multiple properties qualify, then I have to say I really regret selling my real estate in Budapest a few months ago, because then it means that, generally speaking, core, like you say, core property in Budapest will be doing well, as long as this Golden Visa is active, and as long as the mechanism is relatively easy. So the reason I sold my real estate in Budapest a few months ago, well, some of my real estate, not all of my real estate, was that it was stagnating. I didn't see any catalysts for things to become better. If I had known that a Golden Visa would be launched, I would absolutely not have sold my core Budapest real estate apartment in the 6th district. That is for sure. So I think that this suddenly puts Budapest back on the map. It's not only great value in terms of real estate overall compared to other European capital cities, but now there's a big big catalyst around the corner if this golden visa gets properly implemented and is not too restrictive. So it's a bit early to say. I wouldn't jump in right now until the mechanisms are clear. Any thoughts, gentlemen?
Just want to give an idea. I think like 8 or 10 years ago, St. Kitts increased the necessary property investment threshold from 250,000 to 400,000, and all the properties previously available for 300,000, 280, and so on, they just simply disappeared. All of them became 400,000 properties.
Yeah.
This is how it works.
Yeah. So if anyone wants to speculate, get in touch with Benedek. He can find you properties around 300,000 euros, 350,000 euros in the 5th district. If things work out, great. You're probably going to be able to sell it for 500,000 to some Qatari within 18 months. If it doesn't work out, guess what? You have an amazing property in Budapest at some, reasonable price. Cool. All right, fantastic. So this was just a short update because a lot of people have had questions on this. I know both of you will be active with the Hungarian Golden Visa once it launches. In which capacity, I'm not too sure exactly. I know in Laszlo, you'll be offering the full package. Benedek, you'll be helping people find individual properties. Potentially, you were discussing potentially a fund. We don't know. But there is the contact information of both Laszlo and Benedek in the description below if you want to get in touch with them. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you for the chance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Make sure to download my free ebook, 12 Mistakes to Avoid When Investing in International Real Estate, which you can find on my website, linked below, and feel free to follow me on Instagram @TheWandering Investor. I look forward to hearing from you.